I'm Howard Hale, and thanks for joining me for today's edition of the Horseman's Corner. Always great to have you folks along with us on the program. First segment of the program going to be with the quarter horse breeder from Kimball, Nebraska. Second segment of the program, we're going to be talking with the CEO of the Ponies of America Club. And then on the last half of the program, a horseman from Franktown, Colorado. So let's get right into today's show. Our guest today is Erv Timmerman Quarter Horses at Kimball, Nebraska, out in the Nebraska Panhandle. First, Erv, give me some of your background, will you? For example, how long you been raising the horses?
My wife and I, Cindy, have been at it for about 15 years. I've got a brother and his wife. We're also Timmerman Quarter Horses. There's two of us brothers. We kind of consolidated into the program. He's been at it about 40 years, so he's been at it a while.
So he's a lot older than you are then, huh?
Well, he's been doing it longer than I have, put it that way.
Erv, what's the focus of your quarter horse program?
We try and produce an all-around horse that works cows. We've got built into those mares, our mare program primarily is bone, the foot, something that's going to hold up when you go out and ride them outside of an arena or a confined area. They'll be able to climb those hills and rope those cows and calves or whatever you need to do with them, actually.
Okay, then what size horse are you trying to produce?
They generally run between, I would say, 14.5 to 15.1, most of them on the larger side. I've got, we've got some pretty good-sized mares, I got some related mares to Play Gun. We've got some mares related to Shining Spark. We've got some dual pet bloodline. I've got we just picked up a little mare here this last winter that's got a little speed as Firewater Flit descendant. So kind of versed a little bit of everything. We know our horses can catch a calf. Now, I don't know if they can compete in a barrel arena. I think they could be tough. I don't know if they could really excel, but they do well.
How about on the sire side? What are some of the bloodlines you're using there?
Cindy and I only have one stud. His name is Espawalla Blanton. He is a son of Red Mark and son of a Blue Lad Ike mare. So he's a gray. I tend to see to get a little bit of color in the gray and, various colors. It's kind of a crapshoot, really. My brother, on the other hand, he has primarily Blanton bred mares as well as studs.
Let's talk about this Lucky Blanton bloodline. I'm not terribly familiar with that, so give me a little background of that breeding, will you?
Okay, he was, I think it was probably back in the early 40s. He came out of Southern California, northern Arizona. There was a guy by the name of Blanton. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but he bred a good ranch horse. It was his philosophy that you could, show him in the morning and rope calves on him in the afternoon and, do some stake racing in the evening. So a pretty versatile horse. And the best thing about him that we found over the years now is, having them in our program is their demeanor. They have an excellent mind. You get them broke out and, it's not an everyday deal when you go to saddle them up.
You're saying then you don't have to ride them every day for them to stay quiet.
No, once you get them broke out, what I mean broke out is you get 30, 60 days of, serious riding on them. You can park them for a week. I've had people jump on them at 5 years later and never have a problem with them. So, they're smart horses.
I hadn't heard a lot about the Lucky Blanton bloodline. What got you started in those horses? What got you interested?
My sister-in-law purchased a gelding up at Stuart Horsey out of Pine Bluff, Wyoming. She had him, I think he's over 20 years old now, and they've kind of semi-retired him. And over the years, he just got better and better and better. His mind was always there with you. always there with you. Whatever job you needed to do, he was there with you. So it's that demeanor that you've got kind of bred into them, that, you know, they're a partner. They're not just an animal.
Okay, how do you handle those horses? Do you sell most of them as babies, or do you take them on and ride quite a few of them?
Actually, you know, both my brother and I are getting up in age a little bit, you know, still ride just a little bit. We try and sell them as weanlings, and it works pretty good for us on our website. We're usually there, and we have a lot of repeat customers and stuff that, you know, we've got them strung from Kentucky to Utah to Montana, Texas. You know, we've got a lot of them in Colorado, and that's worked pretty well for us.
It's interesting. The internet works well to sell the horses, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It gives them a background, and, you know, people that some of them, you know, they kind of like to see a little bloodline within it, you know. Such as this year, for example, you know, we've got people in line next year that are watching certain mares. So it's kind of a good problem to have, you know. It's too bad that, you know, we can't pacify everybody, but we do the best we can.
How do you run those mares? Run them out on some pretty good-sized pastures?
Right. We pasture breed. We both pasture breed. My brothers did a little bit of hand breeding, but I do most of ours on pasture breeding. They just turn the stud out. He's out there we try and get him in there around 1st of May and pull him 4th of July, and we just kind of take what we get. But he's done pretty good. And
Right.
we've only got like 10, 11 mares, so it's something that he can handle real well. And my brother's got a couple studs, so.
Well, I think it's good for them to have those foals out on the pasture because they learn how to be a horse.
Right. It's not real terribly rough, but like you say, up and down hills, they know where to place their feet. They get the discipline from the rest of the herd. Yeah, it makes for a good, healthy colt. Good in mind. They're attentive, but at the same time, you know, they're pretty easy to handle, actually.
Okay, let's talk about the pasture conditions. How are they holding up for you this year?
Well, it's been dry. Luckily, I've had enough pasture where, you know, I've kind of rotated them around a little bit. I've got some older brood mares that I kind of threw a bale in now, a grass bale hay. So, you know, they get out and they can go out to pasture, but in fact, if they need a little more, they can always get it.
Okay, Erv, anything that you'd like to add that I haven't asked you about?
Yes, I'd like to inform people that we are also with the AQHA Ranch Heritage Program.
What are some of the things that you do in that program?
Yeah, it's an AQHA, American Ranch Heritage Program, youth program through the AQHA, which enables a youth to acquire a quality foal from a breeder program, which enables them to possibly get a little better quality horse than normally. And we donate these, as well as other breeders across the country do this, and we really like participating in that program. Enables these youth to get into it and acquire a good quality horse.
What age are these colts when you donate them?
As a weanling. And they have it from a weanling up through a yearling. And, you know, and the horse is theirs. It doesn't cost them anything. They just have to acquire a few requirements required through the AQHA.
Erv Timmerman Quarter Horses at Kimball, Nebraska. Good to have him with us on the program, and you can reach him at TimmermanQuarterHorses.com. And you folks stay tuned, because on the next segment we're going to be talking with the Chief Executive Officer of the Ponies of America Club. You're listening to the Horseman's Corner.
If you're tired of a stock trailer that just doesn't make the cut or handle the tough jobs like it should, then you should come by Bunkhouse Trailer Sales in Mitchell, Nebraska. Check out the new line of Big Ben trailers in stock now. Half tops, dog boxes, saddle boxes, and so many other features, it's hard to name them all. Built to last with great features every cattleman can appreciate. If you can't stop by, give us a call, 308-623-9955, or check us out online, bunkhousetrailersales.com.
If you'd like to learn more about horses and listen to new programs every day, go to horsemanscorner.com. There's also a for sale page there, and if you have a horse for sale, you can be a part of it for only $10 a head. You can put up 4 pictures, pedigree, video, really a good resource for you. And if you also want to buy a horse, that's a good place for you to go because there's some good horses up there right now. That's horsemanscorner.com.